Right, so today I'm going to address issues of abuse, and I need to examine why someone would go out of their way to inflict injury on another person. So I've made some notes, and basically today what I'm going to do is address the issues of abuse and examine the physical, the psychological, behavioral, and social consequences of child abuse that would extend into adulthood. And, you know, they said 9 times out of 10, abused, the victim becomes the abuser, because that's the life. When you groom, like for instance, if an adult groom a child into becoming something, the child become an expert at it, so to speak. But sometimes they blame others. People who have been abused, they always point the finger at blame at somebody. In their minds, they think that somebody is responsible for the way they turn out, or for what happened to them in later life. And as a result, they become very manipulative, and they become sort of psychopaths. So, or some people call them narcissists. They become so bent in their ways, they haven't got any ideas that they're inflicting injury on somebody, because they think that the world owe them something. Now, individuals with a history, these people with history of, like I said, child abuse, they are more likely to carry on abusing others, children, animals, the elderly, anybody who they come in contact with, because they harboring feelings of bitterness and ill will towards another person. It's like, for instance, some people, they are in a relationship and they get treated badly by their partners. And when they come out of that relationship, God help the other person that they put their paws on, because that person pay dearly for everything that they underwent in that relationship, and it carries on. And the poor man sometimes don't deserve it. But like I said, abuse can appear in many forms: physical, emotional, and it's really varying types of aggression, because the poor man will be naive, or very he will be not aware of what the person underwent, and what least little thing that that person does, he bear the blunt of whatever the abused individual encountered in their previous relationship. And I don't think it's fair, because at the end of the day, each individual, like Mother Dearest used to say, to each his own. Now, the long-term consequences of child abuse and neglect, mostly, for instance, a child who suffered abuse, maybe they were sexually molested, it really can lead to adverse outcomes in adulthood. And some people never recover from what they underwent. And these children who become adults, they grow up in society and they harbor ill will towards others, and they haven't got no empathy. They got no love in them. All they have in them is bitterness. And they find a good man, and as a consequence, they corrupt him. Because all they know is just abuse, and they didn't try to get any form of therapy. In the Bible it said, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So even though you might have encountered abuse or underwent some form of psychological adverse effect on your life, where somebody abused you and caused untold damage to your reputation and to your self-esteem, because when somebody impose on you, it's a gross violation, it's a misconduct, you know so this can consequently entail a substantial risk of causing physical or emotional harm to others. Yes, these people are like a ticking time bomb. I was in a relationship, when I was a teenager. The first young man who I entered a relationship with, well, we call him, everybody know him, Marlon Chin, is now serving 115 years in the United States Penitentiary because he told me time and time again that as a child growing up, his dad beat him more than any of the other children, and he felt like he wasn't loved, and he felt neglected, and he didn't feel, and because of that he grew up in society, and he have revenge, bitter, very bitter towards his the way he was brought up because he didn't feel love. And surprisingly said to me, I'm the only woman who ever showed him love, because I rush home from work to be there for him, cook his meal, sing for him. We used to have a good relationship. And if I'm sure if he was given the chance to leave that penitentiary and come out here and relive his life, he would be a different person, because he was lacking love. And because of that, he went to look for love in all the wrong places. He went to join gangs, and he went into groups that wouldn't serve his interests well. And because of that, now you see what happened to him. Only 20, he was about 24 when he got sent to prison. And I mean, he's about 50, he'll be 50, he'll be 56 in January next year, because I'm 9 months older than him. Bless his heart. He's a good lad. Good, apart from the time when he punched me in my eye, but that's a story for another time. We used to think that the men love us, when they clout us and clamor us like that, but it's not always the case. But apart from that, to be quite honest, I don't have any ill will towards him. I don't bear a grudge. Such behaviors can be intentional and some can be unintentional. These I've done a self-evaluation on my own behavior, and I come up with the fact that sometimes you can lack the capacity to realize that you're inflicting harm. Because when I picked up a big brick and hit that girl in her head, the time I wanted to knock her out, I wanted to knock the woman out. But that time I had rage in me because she kept messing about, causing trouble for me, and I just wanted her to go away, out of my way, get away from me, leave me alone. And she wouldn't leave me alone, and I got into such a rage, you see, and lent her my right hand. Whoops, straight in the eye. And she was coming at me, and I thought, something, I'm going to put this woman, I'm going to put a stop to this individual. And I knocked her out flat on the floor, and I didn't see her moving, and I said to myself, good on you. I didn't have any empathy at the time, or I was cold. I had a cold emotion, because we were brought up to be tough. But as you go along in later life, when I started working in care, I had to adopt. You see, everybody who work in care need a specialized training, I trained for about 2 years. You have to do it literally and physically. You have to train how to look after people, train, because each individual need is different. You understand? When I went to the nursing home, you got one elderly woman calling me bastard, another one calling me bugger, the other one throw feces at me. Yes, woman throw shit at me. Yes. One, when I'm bending down to put her in her stockings and her shoes, she pulled my ear and wouldn't let it go. So what if I was an abuse? What if I didn't get training? Maybe I would slap her and said, behave yourself. Perhaps I would. One of my siblings told me that the reason why she hit my mom, because my mom hit her first. So that particular sibling need training. Most abusers have been abused themselves. I can find lots of reasons to dislike my mother. At the moment, I'm wearing a false tooth, because when I was younger, my mom hit me so hard that the teeth flew out, because we were brought up to know the difference between right and wrong, and lying lips is an abomination to the Lord, and in our household, lies were forbidden. And I told a blatant lie, and I suffered the consequences. Mom had a tactic by saying that if we tell the truth, she won't beat us. But if sometimes we admit to what we did, and it's that time she beat the life out of you. Yes. So we were literally brought up strict. My mom was a very strict mother at the time, had zero tolerance for lies, stealing, any sort of misconduct. You would pay the consequences. Yeah. So there's no point in reacting to hate and violence, and these negative consequences is often associated with the history of abuse. And one man hurt you, you take it out on another man, you hate every man on the planet, and stuff like that. It's just unacceptable. These individuals go on to mistreat others, and they are likely to engage in abusive behavior towards other children. They were subjected to abuse themselves, and they go on to repeat patterns of behaviors of behavioral abuse. Yeah. So basically, I used to hit my second son for the simple fact that he reminded me of his dad. And I was so angry with his dad that I would often take it out on the child. And it's not good to harbor ill will towards somebody for petty reasons as such. And this is why I've realized that you grow up and you get attached to different people, and you learn different norms, societal norms, and you realize that victimization is not going to work. It's this attitude of bullying or assault by a partner or a peer. It's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and there's no point in gravitating to such behavior. You grow up suffering from the effects. You knock it in the you knock it in the head and said, I'm gonna break away from this because it's not right. There's no point in dwelling on the past. What could cause someone to be so bitter, so hateful, so angry towards others and themselves? Only God knows. But the only way to break to combat these forces of darkness is to combat these adverse ill will that you harbor towards others. I mean, every person is affected in different ways. You got we can combat the curse with therapy or spirituality. People, you can seek salvation, because in the Bible, God deliver us from our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, and that's the Our Father prayer. So when it comes to abuse, it's basically there's no need to dwell on the past. Break away from it, and do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And in that way, you will get to stay on the right track and develop and be more loving, and be more thoughtful and mindful of other people's feelings, and understand people's feelings and their emotions and their need to be loved. Everybody have a need to be loved, and this is what this is all about. I'm going to touch on another topic relating to abuse and why people would carry on to be so bitter for many years. Some people, I know people right now hate their mother with a passion. Some hate the partners with a passion. Some hate the children with a passion. I, as a mom, when I was working away, my sons were severely affected by me not being there for them, and I didn't realize it until later life, when we had family discussions and they would say that mom wasn't there for them. But I had 3 jobs, and I was working to pay the bills and to give them a better life and to buy them nice things. But they didn't understand that by working away from home, I couldn't be there with them at the time. So sometimes the people you get to stay with the kids, they don't click with them, and my children, if I had it to do all over again, I wouldn't do it again. My second son, I wouldn't hit him or take out my vengeance on him because of his dad. So, all of us are guilty of doing untold damage to each other subconsciously, but we can break away from it. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Okay, thanks for your time, and keep subscribing, keep watching, and I will touch on this. I've got some more to talk about on this particular topic because it's a wide topic, and I just want to get to the bottom of human behavior when it, or there's psychological aspect of it, and the physical aspect, and especially the emotional aspect, because you can hurt somebody and you're not aware that you're hurting them. All right, so tell your friends about this channel, and thanks for watching. All right, take care. Thank you. Bye bye.